Hello, mate.
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, all right, you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, not too bad. So, are we filming tomorrow?
I'm free, mate, so yes, I'm free to go.
We're good to go. Alright then, I've been thinking, mate, I've got a bit of a challenge for you.
Right, go on then.
Right, so, tomorrow, I'm
Yep.
thinking you have got to catch £100 worth of fish on a tenner.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's fine.
But, within your
Right.
£10,
There's
right,
always a but.
you've got to buy your bait
Right.
and you've got to buy your day ticket.
Bait and day ticket within a tenner.
Bait and day ticket for a tenner, £100 worth of fish.
All right, no, that's fine. I've got to have a think about it, but that's potential there. I've just got to work out a few different ways to go and stuff. But can I fish how I want?
You can fish how you want, and you can fish where you want, and you can buy what bait you want. But the whole lot has got to come in at under a tenner.
All right, yeah, I accept that. I'll give that a go.
Your game?
Yeah, mate. I'll get thinking, and I'll pick you up in the morning.
You've got yeah. I've given you a few hours anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll get thinking tonight, and then I'll let you know tomorrow what we're doing.
Good. All right then, mate. Well, I guess I'll see you in the morning.
All right, mate. Challenge accepted.
All right. And Steve,
Yep.
be lucky.
I could need it.
I'll see you in the morning.
See you later, mate. Bye.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to another episode from the Water's Edge. Now, as you've just seen, I had a rather smug phone call from Chris yesterday setting me a challenge that I don't think he believes is possible to achieve, but I've had a little think. So basically, I've got to catch £100 of fish on a £10 worth of limit, and that includes my day ticket. So I had last night to think about what I was going to do, and the first thing is, where am I going to fish? So we're on our way to Reef and Fisheries, and I gave Rick a call this morning, and he actually does an evening ticket for £6. So I've got £4 left for some bait, which initially I thought that's not a problem, but then when you start to think about situations where I don't know where we're going to be in the forms of peg, I don't know how we're going to have to fish, it became a little bit more awkward. So I have gone very simple, but I hope it's very versatile. So I've spent £1 exactly on 2 tins of corn, and I have got £2.99 on 1 kilo of 6mm pellets. So that's what I've gone to. It might be risky. I mean, like I said, I could have got an awful lot of corn for £4 and just really attacked it, but my thinking behind that is, it's a really nice day. If the fish are sort of shallow, or we have to dob or mug them or something like that, then potentially I can't really do that with just corn. So pellets gives me so many options. If I have to wet them down on a method feeder, if I have to fish them down the edge, if I fish them shallow, I think that's going to give me the best chance of actually producing fish until we know the situation when we get to the peg. So that's my game plan. I don't know what's going to happen. I'll get myself down to Reefham, we'll get set up, and we'll catch up you back on the peg. So we'll get some tunes on, and we'll see you in a bit. So it's now about 10 to 5, and we've been fishing for a short period of time, probably half an hour. So the twilight ticket here at Reefham starts at 4 o'clock. And like I said, that's quite important for me because it had to be £6. I had enough money to get some bait from a day ticket after that is paid for. So the reason we've come into this peg, so we're in peg 29. So it's quite narrow here in the channel that goes into the main lake. And then we comes into this nice bay to my right. And then it goes down into the long lake. So it's quite a nice ambush area that fish pass through anyway. So I'm hopeful that we're going to be catching a few. Now, we've been fishing, like I said, a little while. And when we got here, there was loads and loads of fish on the surface. I ran round here, if I'm honest. And I thought the best way for me to catch these is dobbing or mugging, as some people like to call it. Which, if anyone's unsure, it's basically just putting your single hook bait fish really shallow and dropping it in front of fish. And that worked for, I've had 2 fish really quick. I've had a really nice common. And I've got about £18 on my clicker now, but it has started to dry up and I've started to see less fish. So I think the disturbance has played a big part into that, in catching a couple. and they're either going one way or the other, or they've just dropped perhaps a bit lower in the water. So with this sun now going to go down, I think it's going to bring this shadow over the water, and I'm going to catch less and less doing that. So when I also got here, I put a cup of bait over the far side. It's sort of, there's a peg opposite me that no one's fishing, and I've put in there a bit of corn and a bit of pellets. So they're the only two baits I've got, but all I've done with my bait is I've just got my standard 2 tins of corn, and I've split the pellets up 50-50. Some of them I've wetted down. For one reason, I can put them in a pot nicely every time I go out and just tap them out of the toss pot. And second, it makes them a little bit bigger, so I'm limited to what bait I've got. As I said, I only had £4 to spend on bait. So it makes it a bit bigger, and they just perhaps digest them or eat them a bit more readily as well. So that's where we are now. We're currently £18, sort of 30-40 minutes into the session. I'm sure it's going to get better. I've seen a few tails over that far side. There's a load of fish in this lake, and we're fishing at a good time. I need to get on with it, and I've got to stop talking. So there we go. That didn't take too long. As I said, I've picked up the margin ring after having a little go with the dobbin rig, and it's buried straight away. So hopefully now this is going to have pretty much all my concentration. In a realistic situation, yes, if I didn't have limitations, I'd have a couple of different swims and I might rotate them, and I'd probably be a bit more aggressive with the baiting as well, because you know there's a lot of fish, they're going to want a lot of bait, but I've got to go steady. So I'm going to trickle in every sort of fish now. I'm going to use the toss pot on the end of my pole, and I'm just going to put little and often in there, and hopefully that'll keep the competition going. But this one feels like a nice one. I'll concentrate on getting this in. If we do, we'll have some more pounds to put on the clicker, and we're getting ever closer to beating Chris, and hopefully might even do it with a bit of time to spare. Well, there we are. That is exactly what you need and what you expect when you catch down the edge. So just take the hook out and see if we can hold him up. He's got a bit of ghost in him, but sort of a ghost common. A cracking fish. And these are the ones that we need. You know, if we're going to put a weight together, if you're going to put a weight together at any point, in a match, in a pleasure session, anything, these are the ones you're looking for. And so very often you catch them down the edge. So that's exactly why we chose to go down there. What we want, 18 we said, didn't we? So £6 for that. So there we are. That is exactly what we're after. If we can keep those coming, it won't take long to hopefully get this wrapped up. But all right, we'll talk you through the rigs and exactly how we're doing it, how we're baiting it, and all those bits and pieces. I'm going to give Chris another 3 or 4 minutes of my time, because he's trying everything to distract me and make me talk to you guys rather than really knuckle down on there. So a few more minutes explaining it, and then I'm really going to get my head down and see what we can have. So like I said, wherever you can go, you can expect to catch those bonus big fish down the edge. So you need to be geared up for it. There's no point in using something that you're not confident with, or that's not strong enough up for the occasion. I need to get those fish away from that bank where I'm hooking them, and I want to get them in my net fairly quick. So my elastic choice is 14 to 16 solid. Now for probably 95% of my fishing, I use hollow elastic in open waters or shallows, but for situations like this, I use solid, and it's relatively heavy. Now that comes down to 0.19 mainline, which again, that's not going to let me down unless something seriously goes wrong. I've landed some fish in some situations I thought that's never coming in on 0.19, so it's really strong. The float is 0.5 gram. That's slightly heavy perhaps for the depths of water, but we're fishing big baits, heavy baits like corn and pellets, so I want to get it to the bottom, and I want it to be positive. In this situation, you get a lot of fish competing for the food, and you want a positive bite before you strike to save you foul hooking them. And then with my hook bait, or with my shot, sorry, just before my hook bait, I bulk that all right down at the bottom, so probably only sort of 4 or 5 inches away. And again, that's to keep everything positive, straight down, and you want big positive bites rather than foul hooking them. And then a relatively strong size 12 hook, which I am so happy with. So that tackle there, I'm super confident in any situation. If I need to do a weight quick, that is what's going to do it for me. Then like I said, the final thing, we'll mention it again on bait. I didn't have much to spend, so we spent £1 on sweet corn. That's more than enough bait. That's actually quite a lot. When you empty into a bait tub, you've sort of got like 1.5 pints of corn perhaps there, and I'm really only using that as hook bait. I'm feeding the odd bit, but most of the time it's pellets. And that's another reason why I wetted those pellets up, is because within the money that I was allowed, I had to have hook bait as well. So if they don't want corn, soaking those pellets. So we've been fishing for what now, perhaps an hour. They've actually soaked up enough water that I can just nick a hook through, or we could ban one of the hard pellets as well. So there's loads of options there, and I'm pretty confident if I really sort of concentrate on this now, stop talking, stop letting Chris distract me, I could have this wrapped up with time to spare. I'm convinced of it, because once this gets going, it really is good. So all we're doing is one piece of corn is probably good enough to start. We can double corn it if you start getting a few weird bites of foul hooking, and perhaps double corn's a bit heavy, but a single piece of corn goes on. Leave plenty of hook point exposing. You don't want to be striking through the corn. And then those dampened down pellets, I'm putting sort of 10 or 15 of those in there, a little squeeze, and then we're off out to the mark. So I'm fishing, as we mentioned, to that platform. There's a little post at the end that sticks out, and that's what hopefully is a decent ambush point for those fish swimming past from the long lake into the main lake and down this channel. So once you get there, you're tapping the bait out, and there we are, we're in straight away. And that is exactly what we need. If we catch like that, it won't take me an hour, let alone 2, but it doesn't happen like that all the while. That was a bit excessive, but this is the time now. I've had enough of letting Chris distract me. I'm going to see if I can put that £100 in the net. There we go. He's looking a worried man behind the camera. Not a very big one. I think, to be fair, as I was tapping the pellets down, he probably snatched the corn on the way down, so the rig didn't even really settle. But he's not a typical edge fish. He's probably whipped in there and thought I'll have a quick meal before the big boys arrive. But we'll get him in the net with the others, and we'll see if what we can do. Have some more. Well, even I don't mind stopping when the fish look like that. He's an absolute cracker. You don't often see many fishing commercials looking like that. He'd be more at home perhaps in my garden pond. Since we started, last spoke to you, we've put about £60 on the clicker before this chap, so he's going to click on to just between sort of mid-60s, and we are well and truly rolling the house. So let's get him in the net, and we need to get back out there. Well, I certainly wouldn't mind catching a few more of them in any sort of style that I was fishing. Well happy with that. But same again, we're going straight back out there. No time for rest. We need to get this wrapped up. So single bit of corn, a few pellets, a little press into the pot, and we're shipping straight back onto that spot. It's so accurate, this. I think that's what makes such a big difference. So hopefully not too much longer, and we'll be into another. And that was straight away again. There's really queuing up now, and I think it's just a matter of keeping things steady, keeping things calm, and it won't take us long to rack this weight up. And it so often is, if you had the choice of what time to fish, evening would certainly be one of the ones you'd pick. They really do get onto that bait down the edge, and I think it's just because how many times have they seen pressure all day long, and then everyone, what they do is at the end of the day they throw the bait away, and the fish come for a free feed. So if you've turned up late and you've got a decent chance of putting a fish together, and I've just seen this one, he is pretty good. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to concentrate on getting him in. Well, I feel like celebrating now, to be honest, but knowing my luck, if I start saying things too early, something will go drastically wrong. But I can't see if fish like this are graceful enough to show their presence to us, how it is going to take us long at all. He's got a bit of energy in him, but another absolute stunning fish caught down the edge, and he is exactly what we ordered. Well, a couple more of them will be there, but another £10 on the clicker. And it is worth a mention, if you haven't got one of these before, a few of you may never have seen it if you don't do too much match fishing, but if you're getting into it, then a clicker is a brilliant way of sort of roughly guessing what weight you think you're on. It's just a case of when you're catching well, you really don't know, you know what you've got. So if you've got 3 nets, 2 nets, whatever you go for, just click every fish that goes in there. You get to your weight that you're allowed for each venue, move on to your next one, and so on. So clicker, if you're trying to do big weights of fish and keep track of exactly what you've had, they are a real good way of doing it. And then it's just a case of learning or judging how big they are. And when they're like that, sometimes it's pretty hard to do to get it right. So always give yourself a little bit of room. But straight out again, a couple more of those and we will be there, and I will be very, very happy to get this sealed off in no time at all. So straight back out there. I'm sure there's going to be one waiting there. We haven't waited long since I've gone on this line here down, well, it is down the edge, but it's down the far edge. You could obviously do the same down your close edge as well, but since I've gone on there, really haven't looked back. I've seen a few fish still swimming about, but not interested in that. While you're catching fish like this and they've got their heads down feeding, oh, there we go again. That's exactly what you need. Fish on the peg, competing for it, and they're feeding. And if only everything could go as well as this, well, we wouldn't need to do anything else. We'd just come fishing every day, wouldn't we? But these are the days to remember. Well, perhaps not for Chris when he thought he'd set a challenge that was quite hard. And to be fair, I did, and it's a decent challenge. It proves that everyone can come and catch fish for not much money at all, and everyone, sometimes you hear that in fishing, it's very expensive, and I think fishing is as expensive as you want to make it. So today, hopefully, if we pass it, we'll prove it. Let's hold him up. He's not very big, but he's welcome just the same. Let's slip him in a net. But a real steady run of fish. I think, I'm going to cross my fingers, I think this is done now. I've clicked the clicker to, we're on about 114 at the moment. Whatever this one puts in, I want to go slightly over because I don't want to take myself look too stupid and get the weights massively wrong. With filming and other bits and pieces, I think that it's sometimes hard to keep track, but I'm sure we're there, I'm sure we're completed, and I believe that the ticket here runs until sort of dusk or 9 o'clock-ish. So we've got plenty of light to spare as well. So if I'm correct in my calculations, and we'll give Rick a call, who's the owner here, and he'll come do the weigh-in for us. It's all official. I don't want anyone claiming that it's not true and Chris or I have fixed the weight. So we'll get Rick round. But I think that little fella definitely makes sure that we've well and truly over the weight we need. So we'll slip him back in the net. We'll put a third net in just to be safe, keep these fish under as less stress as possible, and we see if we can get them weighed in. Right, moment of truth. I've stopped early, so if I've got this wrong, I am going to look very stupid. But Rick's just over there with the scales, got a couple of mats ready, everything's wet, and we're going to just weigh these fish in and see exactly what we've got. And I think, I don't really want to put a weight because filming's hard, but I think we've got 120 1:30 in the time we've been fishing. So let's get going. Right, I'm not allowed to look, am I? You're gonna have to tell me. Is it too much? Is it too little? So I feel a bit like the naughty kid who's been sent away. I weren't allowed to look at the weights while Rick and Chris are up there weighing the fishing, so I hope they haven't stitched me up and weighed it properly. I'm sure we're over. I've estimated between 120 and 130, but I have gone on the light side to not make myself look stupid, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was slightly over that, but I've had enough of weighting. Chris has got a bit of paper here with the final weight on, so let's see if we've done it on £10 worth of fishing. So a £6 evening ticket, £3.99. Don't forget I've got a penny change on my bait. Let's see what we've done. Oh, we're over. We've got £158.9. Slightly more than I thought, but we've smashed the weight. I've smashed the target. So I am chuffed that you can have that back and frame that, Chris. But it just goes to prove that doing things in the right time and the right places, you can really have good fishing on not a lot of money. And one thing before I go, I'd like to show you, to just emphasise it even more. I know I spent £3.99 on bait, but I have got probably more than a tin of corn still left. And the 2 pellets that we said, the dampened and the normal, again, I've probably got, you know, a quarter of a bag left of pellets and these left as well. So bait-wise, I've done it loads less than that. So that's even more important. If you want to go out, you don't have to spend loads of money, just do it in the right way. And I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had good fun. We've had a lot of banter off camera about, is this going to be achievable? And we've absolutely proved it is. So thank you for watching. We'll see you again on the next one. And Chris, find something harder next time.